everyone, thank you so much for watching today. My name is Day and I am here to explain it all. In today's video, I am jumping on the bandwagon and I am doing my very own beauty consumer tag. Now this tag was created by a channel called 90s LoveChild, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have their channel linked somewhere below. And JenLuvsReviews, she's been on YouTube forever and she's got a really large fan base. I love her channel so much. I think she's so authentic and so real. She did this video a couple of days ago and I think it inspired declutter, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't watched her declutter video yet, but I think she decluttered somewhere close to 125 eyeshadow palettes, which is a crazy amount. But yeah, good for her for passing those on and hopefully repurposing them and giving them to somebody who will have a better use for them, which is, you know, what decluttering really is all about. But I digress. So back to what I was saying. I wanted to do the beauty consumer tag. It's a tag with 13 questions all about kind of like consumer habits and spending habits. And I recently filmed a video about my shopping addiction and my own consumer habits. I'll have that linked in a card, I believe somewhere up here, where I really talk about my problems with my shopping addiction, and I talk a little bit about kind of like the psychology behind spending. I'll offer some pieces of advice on that video. So again, I'm gonna link that somewhere up on the screen. Check out that video. But without further ado, let's just jump right into it and just go ahead and get started with the beauty consumer tag. So the first question says, how much do you spend on makeup a month versus how much do you spend on it a year? Now, I don't know exactly the answer to this question. I don't shop like routinely. What I tend to do is I'll suppress the need for shopping and then I'll see some sale or I'll have, you know, some kind of issue happen and I want to blow off some steam. So I'll head to the shops and I'll go to Ulta, I'll buy something, or, you know, with Cyber Monday and Black Friday deals, for example, I spent a lot of money in November versus what I spent in August, for example. If I were to think about it objectively, but again, it's a really hard number and that is bad of me because that means that I don't budget. I watch Sarah Rose here on YouTube. I'm going to link her channel below, and she actually had like accurate numbers for this question in particular because she has a budget and it is so important. That's definitely one of my goals for 2020 is to incorporate a more financially responsible lifestyle into what I am currently doing. So I will be able to hopefully next year have more accurate information. Now, in terms of what I spend on makeup in a year, I recently recorded a video titled I spent $1,300 on makeup. When I link that somewhere up on the screen, I think with that number, you should pretty much have an idea of how much I spent on makeup this year. I think this year I really outdid myself in terms of spending on skincare. I fell in love with Ulta and I fell in love with a lot of brands like ColourPop, for example. I fell in love with Juvia's Place. I fell in love with BH Cosmetics. And so it really made me want to try and buy and sample. So I really spent a lot of money this year. I ended up spending about $575 at Ulta, about $500 at Sephora, and about $300 at CVS. So it was quite a lot of money. I've used most of what I bought, or I have given it away to girlfriends and family members, so it's not like a lot has been wasted, but it is still a lot of money, especially for somebody who doesn't live on like a huge budget. Do you ever feel guilty about how much you spend on makeup? Yes, I do feel guilty sometimes, especially when it is items that I don't like. There's just something really depressing about using a product that you don't like because makeup is supposed to make you feel better about yourself, not uglier. So as long as you are buying things that are making you happy and that are making you feel legitimately confident in your own skin, I feel like those are the things that you really shouldn't feel guilty about buying. Now, if you are battling between paying your power bill and like buying Natasha Denona's latest palette, then you really need to take a step back and reconsider what your priorities are. So I would say that I do feel guilty, but the items that I buy also end up bringing me joy most of the time. Question number 3. Do you ever get fear of missing out related to makeup releases? I don't really, because I try not to be connected to like the circuit of information and news and releases. I don't follow, I think Trend Mood is like that Instagram page where they're always talking about new releases. I don't follow any of those pages. I let myself be guided by the YouTubers that I watch. And a lot of the YouTubers that I watch do shop my stash videos, less focusing on PR. Like, for example, I follow Jessica Braun here on YouTube, and she has since gotten out of a lot of PR lists. So a lot of what she reviews, she already has on her in her collection, or she's buying on her own dollar. And I just feel there's something to be said about not necessarily that PR is bad, but you really have to think about like these companies want us to buy these products, and that's why they just like mass bomb send them to like influencers, drama channels now for some reason, because they want us to spend our money on those products. Now, I don't like being told what to buy. I don't like being told what to like. I want to feel that I've got my own personal opinion and that I've got my independence. And so I am more influenced by what people I trust here on YouTube have to recommend or have to say. I'm also a visual buyer. I will go to Ulta once every couple of weeks and just browse and see what they have. I sometimes venture out and I try new brands. Sometimes I only try brands if I've heard good things about them. And sometimes I go to Ulta and I walk out empty-handed because, again, I'm just looking. I'm not interested in like buying. But yeah, I definitely can understand why a lot of people would get fear of missing out. Thinking about like the Shane Conspiracy collection, for example, and just how crazy people were about the whole ordeal. It is what it is, but I think that we should definitely be more conscientious about fear of missing out so that we don't let that inform our buying decisions. I have no idea if this made sense. I hope it did. It did in my head. Number 4, do you purchase or keep items simply because they are limited edition? I think that connects to the previous question. I don't usually fall into like the hype train and the makeup releases. I think that they're really quite exhausting. There's just too much makeup being released lately. So I don't usually buy limited edition things. Now, if I ever in the future purchased anything, if it was limited edition, I don't think that it would affect the fact that I would purchase the item. I don't know if I would talk about the item as often as a product that was a regular product in a collection, because you can talk about a limited collection item while it is in stock, but once it's out of stock, you might have 5% of your fan base that is interested in a video about that palette that was limited edition, as opposed to a 50% that is interested in a drugstore palette. Both bands have their pros and cons. I think it wouldn't affect an item being limited edition, wouldn't affect my ability to purchase it. It might influence how often I speak about it on my channel. Number 5, would you be willing to pay more money for a sold out product online? No. I know this is a really controversial position, but I don't agree with scalpers. I know that it's a business. Jeffree Star has talked about it on his channel. As somebody who usually has people scalp his merchandise, and if you don't know what scalping is, it's basically people who stand in line or purchase things online to resell them at inflated prices at other selling apps like eBay, for example. So I don't think that I would, because I really don't agree with the principle of the thing. But no judgment if you have. I think again that really ties. Sorry for being redundant, but that really ties to that fourth question, right? About fear of missing out. And I feel there's something there to be analyzed about the psychology of group mentality, I should say. Everybody seems to want something. You ask yourself, hey, should I want that thing as well? Am I the one that's in the wrong? So I feel that's definitely where the insecurity comes in. Number 6 is a really interesting question. Do you wish you could spend more or less? I think realistically, I do wish I could spend more money, but I also understand that I shouldn't be spending more money than I am already on these items, because things like beauty and skincare, they really are miscellaneous in the grand scope of things. We don't really need makeup, we don't need skincare. It makes us look a lot better, and it can be a source of confidence and self-esteem, but it's not necessary. So I do understand again that I spend an exorbitant amount of money on makeup. Do I wish I could spend more? Yes, because if I said no, I would be lying. But I am also actively trying to be responsible about spending. Again, I talk about that in my video on my shopping addiction. It's a choice that I conscientiously made a couple of years ago. Do I have mishaps, and do I stumble along the way? Absolutely, we all do. But I try to be responsible and, get up and try again and do better next time. Number 7, do you feel compelled to buy something when you see it in someone else's collection? I think yes, but again, specifically, it's those people that I know and that I trust here on YouTube that really make it easy for me to go out and spend money. If Jessica says something is good, I'm going to buy it. If Tati says something is good, I might consider trying it. If Emily Noel likes a product, I'm going to, run out and get it, because they are people that I genuinely like and trust. When you see an item being used, you can see a demonstration, you can see what the product can do, and so you buy with more confidence, which in the grand scope of things ends up being more positive, because, if you're spending money on a makeup item, you see reviews and you see the item being used by your favorite YouTuber, somebody that you trust and might have the same skin type as you do. You see it being used and you will buy with more confidence, and so it will be money better spent than if you are buying something that you've never tried before or that you haven't heard anyone talk about. Number 8, do you buy more during the holidays? I think I do buy more during the holidays, but it has a lot to do with like discounts and sales. They just happen to be more frequent during this time of the year. So I do think that like my big purchasing moments are in the summer, when I want to spruce my collection and I want to add new pieces, and in the winter when there's like sales and things going on and I want to add items to my collection. So I definitely spend more during the holidays. There's also, something to be said about the meaning of Christmas and how that's definitely been lost to a very consumeristic and capitalist kind of viewpoint on Christmas, where we have to spend money to show people that we care about them, as opposed to, what the real meaning of Christmas was and should continue being. And reads, have you ever hidden a makeup purchase from family or friends? I've tried, but my partner really is understanding and he doesn't really judge what I buy much. We live together, but we have separate finances. So I try not to get too involved in what he spends his money on, and he's really good about not saying anything, and he knows that I love makeup. He knows that it makes me happy. And ever since I started YouTube, makeup has become a tool, right, for me to kind of connect with other people. I'm using it more often, and I'm playing with makeup more often, and it feels really good. So he's really supportive, and he's not really judgmental at all. Now my parents would be like a different story if I lived with them or something like that. I would probably hide purchases because my mom would definitely be telling me that I don't need any more makeup, which truth, I really don't. Next question reads, do you have more than 10 products in your collection that you have not used in over a month? I don't know. 10. Maybe if you count like eyeliners, I have a lot of eyeliners, and I don't use eyeliner pencils like every day. So I think if you count those, it would be over 10, but I don't have, I mean, I have a lot of stuff, but I don't think I have like an excessive collection. So yes, but maybe 10 or 15 products as opposed to like 50 or 75. All right, so moving on to question number 11. It reads, have you ever been pressured to purchase something you could not afford or did not need? Yes. And that product is right here behind me. It's a Tati Beauty Textured Neutrals palette. I jumped the bandwagon on this one. I bought it on super mega impulse because I wasn't going to buy this palette. I didn't think I was going to use this top row at all, and you know, the sequins and the mattes just looked a little bit too similar for me, and then I bought it. So I think this is definitely like my fear of missing out moment, just because I wasn't sure that it was going to be a regular product, or that I would be able to easily find it, or that it would be even restocked. I also bought it, you know, to support Tati, who I've followed and unfollowed back and forth throughout the years, but I do really support her overall. I can't afford most of the things that she promotes because, you know, she is a lot more bougie than other YouTubers, but I did want to support her, and, you know, I bought the palette. It's a beautiful palette. If I could keep these 2 rows and give these 2 rows away, I think I would definitely do that to somebody who, you know, like to play with glitter. I have hooded eyes, so it's just really difficult for me to get glitters to not transfer on my eyelids. I feel like the staying power with these is just not good enough. I have to try a couple of eyeshadow primers. I was recommended the Urban Decay Primer Potion, so I'm going to perhaps think about maybe buying one in the future. I don't know. All right, and question number 12 reads, do you purchase makeup for collector reasons? I do not. I do not collect makeup. I don't believe in collecting makeup because makeup is not something that really increases in value at all. It's not something that has longevity. It has an expiration date, and once that's expired, that's done with. Collecting handbags, now that's different because handbags and fashion pieces do go up in value, but I definitely do not buy to collect. No judgment to anybody who does. Obviously, everybody needs to live their own lives, but it's just not something that I would personally do. Finally, lucky question number 13 reads, in your makeup journey, have you become less or more consumeristic? Definitely less consumeristic. I used to work at a beauty store back when I was in my very early 20s, and I think working at a beauty store and kind of being exposed to pressures of looking a certain way and using the products that you were selling, that really encourages you to shop. I left most of my paycheck in the shop because I felt so pressured to buy makeup releases and buy products that I could recommend to customers because I had tried them myself. So there's definitely that aspect of my consumerism that I can understand the root of the problem, and that I can, you know, honestly say it's been better than it is in 2019. I feel like 2017, 2018 were probably better years for like my spending habits. But overall, within the scope of, again, what I spent this year, I feel mostly happy about everything that I purchased and that I've added to my collection this year. I definitely have to understand and recognize that I have a lot more than I ever actually need, and that I will severely have to adjust my spending habits and perhaps acclimate myself to a low buy or no buy situation, because I don't want my consumer habits to be exacerbated now that I am on YouTube. Guys, that's going to be it for me for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and please consider joining this tag. Again, it is the beauty consumer tag started by 90s LoveChild here on YouTube. You can watch JenLuvsReviews video. You can watch Sarah Rose's video, all here on YouTube. And I would love for you to join, to record your own video, and please tag me on it. Follow me on my socials. I am on Instagram under the handle Day Explains. Add me. I love chatting and getting to meet new people. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.